Some systems don't crash because the code is weak. They crash because the programmer refuses to admit there is a bug. In the glittering skyline of San Francisco, where ambition flows through glass towers like electricity through a circuit board, a young founder named Caleb believed he understood the rules of success better than most people around him. The city was a monument to innovation, a place where bold ideas turned into billion-dollar companies, and where failure was often treated like a temporary bug that could simply be patched and deleted. Caleb thrived in that environment. Brilliant, driven, and relentlessly ambitious, he was the kind of engineer who could stare at a screen for 12 hours straight, while the rest of the world faded into background noise. His mind worked like a machine, constantly optimizing, improving, pushing every line of code closer to what he believed was perfection. And perfection, to Caleb, was everything. It was the currency of the tech world. Investors demanded it. Users expected it. And founders who could deliver it were rewarded with attention, power, and the kind of wealth that turned dreams into reality. So Caleb built Zenit. Zenit was supposed to be revolutionary, a financial application designed to simplify complex investing for millions of users around the world. Caleb poured every ounce of his energy into the project, pushing his team harder each week as the launch date approached. Deadlines were shortened, testing phases were rushed, and small warnings from engineers were brushed aside in the pursuit of something that Caleb believed mattered more than caution: speed. Launch day arrived with the kind of anticipation that fills a room with electricity. The servers were ready. The press was watching. Early users waited with excitement to download the app that promised to change everything. And then the system crashed. The servers buckled under the traffic before the platform even stabilized. Screens froze. Transactions failed. Within minutes, the launch that was supposed to mark the beginning of Zenit's rise turned into a public spectacle of failure. But Caleb refused to see it that way. Standing before cameras and investors, he blamed the network infrastructure. He blamed external partners. He blamed the unexpected volume of users. Everyone except the one person responsible: himself. Inside, he knew the truth. The timeline had been rushed. The warnings had been ignored. The code had been pushed to production before it was ready. But admitting that would mean admitting imperfection. And Caleb believed perfection was the only thing investors respected. One investor in particular was watching carefully: Mr. Sterling. Sterling was a legend in the venture capital world, known for his sharp instincts and ruthless demand for transparency. He had built fortunes by backing founders who were brilliant but honest, people who understood that trust was the real currency of innovation. Caleb needed Sterling's investment, $5 million. Without it, Zenit would die before it ever had a chance to recover. But the user numbers weren't strong enough to secure the deal. And desperation can make intelligent people do incredibly foolish things. Late one night, Caleb called his engineer Leo into the office and gave an order that would quietly change the course of his life. Create ghost users, thousands of them. Fake accounts that would inflate the platform's activity and make Zenit appear far more successful than it truly was. "Just get us past this funding round," Caleb insisted. "We'll fix everything once we have the money." Leo hesitated. But authority has gravity, and gravity is hard to resist. The numbers skyrocketed overnight. Artificial growth. A digital illusion. A house of cards built from lines of code. And when Caleb stepped into the boardroom to meet Mr. Sterling, he performed the role of visionary founder perfectly. His presentation was confident. His metrics were impressive. His narrative was compelling. Sterling signed the check, $5 million. The office erupted in celebration. Champagne flowed. The team toasted to the future of Zenit. But beneath the celebration, something fragile had already begun to crack. Because deception, no matter how clever, has a way of leaving fingerprints. A tech blogger noticed strange anomalies in Zenit's traffic patterns. Curious, she began digging deeper into the data. What she found was a trail of automated activity that led directly back to the bot system Caleb had ordered. Within days, the story exploded across the internet. The article exposed everything: the fake users, the manipulated metrics, the illusion of growth. Sterling withdrew his investment immediately. Zenit was removed from the App Store. Caleb's reputation collapsed overnight. In the technology community, his name became synonymous with fraud. And suddenly, the brilliant founder who had once commanded attention was reduced to packing his belongings into cardboard boxes. For weeks, Caleb felt like a ghost walking through the ruins of a life he had built with his own hands. Shame followed him everywhere. Interviews disappeared. Job offers evaporated. Friends stopped returning calls. He considered running, changing his name, starting over somewhere nobody knew the story. But before disappearing completely, he drove north to visit the one person who had always seen him clearly: his father. Arthur lived a quiet life in Maine, running a small watch repair shop filled with the soft ticking of hundreds of antique timepieces. Where Caleb's world moved at the speed of algorithms and venture capital, Arthur's world moved slowly, measured in gears, springs, and patience. Arthur welcomed his son without judgment. Caleb told him everything: the failure, the lie, the collapse. He expected anger or disappointment. Instead, Arthur walked to a shelf and brought down an antique watch. The case was polished gold, beautiful enough to belong in a museum. But when Arthur wound it, the hands refused to move. "This watch looks perfect," Arthur said quietly, "but it can't keep time." He opened the back case and revealed a tiny chipped gear inside the mechanism. "You can polish the outside forever," he continued, "but if the internal gears are damaged, the watch will never work." Caleb stared at the broken gear, and in that moment, he saw himself. It wasn't the blogger who destroyed Zenit. It wasn't the market. It was the flaw in his own internal mechanism: his integrity. For the first time since the scandal began, Caleb stopped blaming the world, and something inside him shifted. Instead of disappearing, he made a different decision. He recorded a video. No lawyers, no excuses, no spin, just the truth. He admitted everything: the fake users, the pressure, the lie he told himself about fixing things later. The internet was ruthless at first. Critics mocked him. Comment sections filled with anger. But honesty has a strange power. It begins rebuilding trust slowly, one truthful action at a time. Caleb started again from zero. A new app, a new company. He called it Core. This time, whenever a bug appeared, he reported it immediately to users. When growth was slow, he admitted it openly. Instead of demanding perfection from his team, he encouraged them to acknowledge mistakes quickly and fix them together. 3 years passed. The company grew quietly, not through flashy headlines, but through reliability. One day, a familiar name appeared in Caleb's inbox: Mr. Sterling. They met again in a small office overlooking the bay. Sterling listened carefully as Caleb explained the new platform and the lessons he had learned. When Caleb finished, Sterling leaned back in his chair. "I'm not investing because your app is perfect," he said. "I'm investing because I believe in a leader who fixes his own glitches." And in that moment, Caleb understood something he had missed during his entire first company. Success is not about never breaking. It is about having the courage to repair what is broken. Like a watch, our value is not in the gold casing we show the world. It is in the integrity of the gears inside. And once those gears are repaired, time begins moving forward again. This is Ethan Spire Stories.